Thank you very much. Good afternoon. My name is Ola Aina, and the principal of Internet LLC. Our mission is to partner with businesses to help them to accomplish their objectives. We help make accounting easy, and we help to set up the accounting and financial management systems for success. I have been involved, I have been hands-on practicing accounting, financial, and business systems implementation and support for more than 20 years, and I have worked with different accounting systems, accounting disciplines, and accounting software successfully for various businesses. So I'm very excited about the opportunity to help you set up your business for success by implementing the systems that supports your business. At this time, I'd like to learn about the business of the participants. Please tell me about your business and let me know what you would like to get out of this session.
Can we hear from you, Ricardo?
Sorry, was I the only participant that's not with Edeco?
We have also myself and Katanya.
Yeah, but you're one of the organizers.
We are also business owners, but yeah. So you are getting, hands-on, one-on-one experience with Ola.
Okay. Yeah. So well, I don't have a business per se. I'm looking to get information to support some small businesses that I work in the non work with in the non-for-profit space, who oftentimes find bookkeeping or accounting a struggle, right? And just to get information where I can bring back to them and kind of point them in the right direction.
That's great. That's great. I do have experience with non-profit, the non-profit business management systems and the required reports, non-profit financial statements, such as the Form 990. So I have good experience with that. Good.
And, I myself have a business as well. Aside from working here at Heco, I have a small business on the side. I have a digital communications and marketing business. So I'm
Okay.
also interested in learning what you have to offer. So again, thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Oh, great. Great. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity. The topics that we're covering today are understanding ERP systems, introductions to QuickBooks and other systems, accounting and business management systems, using QuickBooks and other ERP systems in your business effectively, and choosing the right accounting system for your business. What I'm planning to accomplish is to share information about how to manage your business finances for success. That's my mission. Entrepreneurs, we wear many hats. We have to step in different roles. When we start our businesses, we tend to be the worker, the supervisor, the manager, the executive out of necessity until our businesses grow to fill these roles with additional persons. So I look at this as the steps to have to get to become an investor, because ultimately we want our business, we want to be successful, to support us to deliver the objectives of why we set up these businesses. So for profit and not for profit, one has to move to the stage where one now looks at the business for what it produces. Pretty much like an investor would look at a business that they invest in to make sure the business is successful and produces the result. Warren Buffett, I'm sure we all know about Warren Buffett, said that accounting is the language of business. So all business people have to understand accounting or find a way to get understanding of the accounting, which is to keep track of what is going on in their businesses and make sure, get that information in a timely manner and make sure that they're moving towards accomplish their objectives and their goals, which is the profit. And in the case of non-profit, uh, achieving the objectives of that non-profit. I'm going to use mostly the terms of a for-profit business, but I will make sure that I include the idea behind non-profits also.
And I just wanted to welcome Marina as well. Marina, did you want to just share what kind of business that you have?
Hi, sure. I'm just starting one franchise of the Little Gym.
Okay, that's
It's
awesome.
a gym
Thank you
for
for
kids. Excuse me?
I said I just want to say thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for offering this information.
Yes. So, Marina, what would you like to get out of this session?
So I'm new entrepreneur. I'm very lost when I think I have to do the accounting.
Okay.
So I think basic information would be super helpful for me.
Okay.
And yeah, anything that can help me set me up,
Okay.
that would be great.
Okay. So, what does your business? Please tell us more about your business. How
So
long? What do you do? How long has you been in business? And
So I'm setting it up right now. I'm in the construction phase. I plan to
construction?
open at the end of this year.
Okay.
Yeah, probably in 4 months or so. End of the
Okay.
summer, beginning of fall.
Okay.
And it's going to be a membership-based gym, gymnastics programs for kids.
Okay.
Yeah, that's basically what information would you need to help me with the accounting side
Okay.
of it.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Please let us make this very interactive, and so that feel free to ask me questions at any time, so that we can get the most out of this session.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Mhm.
You're
Feel free
welcome.
to chat if you don't want to interrupt.
Okay.
Okay. So basically, accounting is based on, this is the equation that accounting rests on. Again, we're looking to get profit. That's the bottom line, the profit. But the formula for accounting is this: is the asset minus liability equals equity. In other words, what we have less what we owe equals what we own. The equity is the value that we build into our businesses. because as we run our business from day to day, what we're looking to do is to be profitable and also to build equity, to build value from our daily labor. And in the case of nonprofits, it's pretty much the same thing. The profit logic is still there in the nonprofit, except that the objectives of the nonprofit is the paramount mission. Also, nonprofits also have, when they are the more efficient they are, the more they're able to build value at the end of their period, at the end of each period. So just keep this in mind. Asset minus liability equals equity. In other words, assets are things that we own. Say, for example, a company buys some equipment to run their businesses. So you have that gym equipment there. That's an asset. Now, how did you finance it? If you borrow money, then you have some payables. So that's a liability. If you sign up for internet service and you commit to that service for a year, well, that's a liability that is due every month. So at the end of a period or any point in time, the value of that asset minus the liability is how you make your profit and how you build value into the business. Assets also include things like accounts receivable. When you sell on credit, in other words, if your payment is delayed, then and you've delivered service or you've delivered goods, that's an asset to the company. Again, we're talking about liability, commitment, the things that you owe to other people or other entities. So, do you have any questions about this? Any questions on this? Asset minus liability equals equity?
No questions.
Okay. Okay. And again, this is how accounting, the structure of accounting is set up, is based on this formula. And that's how all the accounts, all the business accounts are classified under these three headings: asset, liability, and equity. So accounting and managing our business finances has to do with capturing the transactions, processing the transactions, reporting on the transactions, analyzing it, the information, and using that information to prepare budgets for the future or currently. So accounting is the medium for fulfilling these essential functions of the business. The accounting is being so perfected that is, again, going back to that equation, we now set up a ledger system in which ledger just means books in which we record transactions, be it sales or bills that we received and cash that we received. So these are the different books. Ledger just means a book that you go to record every transaction, every cash receipt, every obligations, and amount that are owed to the organization or we expect to come into the organizations. So all these ledgers, all these records are now summarized in what is called the general ledger, which is the big ledger where we bring all the information come together. And then we do what is called a trial balance. Trial balance is the way it helps to make sure that, just to make sure the information is correct, that our records are accurate and correct. We do a trial. Accounting has what we call a double entry. So we enter this information in two places, and then by recording in two places, you'll be able to highlight to let us know that our records are accurate. So those are the terms that are used in accounting. Well, today we don't really encounter this we don't encounter these titles as much because the modern computer systems does a lot of that for us. So you don't have to worry about the ledgers. They exist inside the computer, but the automation system has really screened this for us. And there's an accountant inside your computer. There's a bookkeeper inside your computer doing all this for you so that you don't have to worry about this. Any question about this, please? Okay. So many tools over time have evolved to help us do accounting. We've talked about the accounting books, the ledgers, the old ledgers that we don't use, which is still, some people still use the manual system. In fact, there are some manual system. The manual system has been so perfected that they are very efficient. So one can still use manual system, but by and large, we find out that the automation is still the best way to go. Using spreadsheets, databases, and accounting and business management software, which we call ERP systems, which means enterprise resources planning systems. We'll use the word ERP. That's really what it means. It's just a automated computerized system for doing accounting and managing business finances. There are various accounting systems out there. Accounting, again, we say accounting, we always have to think of it in terms of financial and business management system, managing our businesses and managing the accounting and finances of the business. There are vertical and industry-specific systems and add-ons, by which I mean that software, the way they are written, can be very, very helpful to the processes of a business. For example, a retail business, the process of a retail business is that they do buy some products, they keep this product on the shelves, and then sell these products, and then they collect cash, or they bill for them, bill for the sales. So that's their process. In the case of a gym, a membership gym business, the process involves marketing to let people know about the business. Then when people sign up, have a way to keep information about these members or prospective members. And as the members come in to pay, to have a way to collect the membership fees, and also to have a report that shows how many members we have, how much are they paying, how much have we collected, and then what are they actually using. So to compare this retailer and the membership gym system, you need a system that really helps to support the processes of the business. A retail system will be different from a system that will be used in a gym. In the case of a nonprofits, they mostly use grants. They apply for grants, they plan their programs, they hire people to do the grants, and then when they get the grants, they plan how they're going to spend this money, and they keep records of how the programs are going. So the software that a nonprofit will want to use has to support that process, which is different from the processes of a retailer, as an example. So in selecting a software that will be used, it's very important to make sure that that software supports the process, day by day processes, the kind of records that a business or a service provider or a nonprofit needs to run their businesses. So one has to be careful to select the right software that has all those features that support the processes of that business. Any questions? Okay, move on.
So we do have a couple of new people.
Okay.
Yeah. Brenda, who has joined us, and Uman, I hope I'm saying that right. So I
Okay.
just want to make sure that we appreciate you guys joining. And I did have a question. I know obviously QuickBooks is probably one of the most famous ERP systems, but is that one that for a startup like maybe with Marina, is that something that you would suggest people go directly to QuickBooks, or if they're first starting their business, should they kind of try something different? What do you suggest?
Okay, what I do for my clients is that I sit down with the client, we talk about their business, what the objectives are, and we talked about the processes involved in the business. And then and then the kind of information that they would need to effectively run their business. And it's at that point that we now select the software that supports that business. So QuickBooks is one of the very, very, very good software. It has the accounting systems, very, very robust system. And also QuickBooks also has add-ons that enables it to support different kinds of business, retail, even non-profits. So, but we have to do the job of understanding a business, their processes, their objectives, and the information that the business owner or a non-profit, somebody who runs a non-profit, the information they need to be able to run their business effectively. So that's just a process that we follow. Any other questions about this? Yeah. Now, the financial reports, after entering transactions into the system, we need some reports. And reports enable us to know how the organization, the business is doing. In other words, a nonprofit will want to be able to keep track of the grantors, of funders, funding sources, the information, and they need to know how many proposals have we sent out, and what are we hoping to get back in terms of grants, so that we can plan accordingly. And at the end of the period, it could be on a daily basis. You want to have certain information that will inform everyone, the users, the managers, the directors, executive directors, the information that they need to fulfill their role. Examples of this information are the income. The most common financial reports are income statements, profits and loss statements. In the case of a nonprofit, is the statement of activities. And the balance sheet and cash flow statements are some of the most common and most important reports and statements that are used for businesses and organizations to give a view and understanding on how things are going with their business or organization. In the case of, again, as I said, profit, non-profit, statement of activity, pretty much a financial statement that is structured in a way that properly informs on the kind of information that the nonprofit would want to have. There are other statements. In the case of nonprofit, we use the statement of functional expenses, which is structured in a way to serve the idea, the logic of a nonprofit. But these are the three main examples of the three main and most common financial statements and reports that organizations and businesses use to get an insight into the status of their businesses, organizations. Any questions? Now, this time I'd like to hear from our participants to let us know what kind of software they're using or they're thinking of using to run their business organizations. Ricardo.
QuickBooks.
Okay, are you using QuickBooks now, or are you thinking of using it?
As I mentioned, it's just it was supporting some nonprofits, and they mostly use QuickBooks and Sage.
And Sage, okay. Oh yes, those are systems that I'm very, very familiar with. Any issues about this software at this time? Hello, Ricardo.
No, not specifically.
Not specific. Okay.
And Brenda said in the chat that she's using Square, but she would like to switch over to using QuickBooks for her business. Brenda, what kind of business do you have?
I have a health and safety training company. I do first aid and CPR training, but we also do nurse consulting for daycare centers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how long have you been in business?
For about 6 years. We just started off slowly, and now picking up. I have like 10 centers, and we do CPR classes for like CVS and the pharmacies and Target. We subcontract with other companies to do that. So now it's getting bigger, and I just want to get better at my books and stuff.
Okay. Great.
How about you, Marina? I know you said you're just now on the construction phase, so have you looked into any differences between QuickBooks or other ERP software?
What I hear from people doing the same, they recommend QuickBooks.
Yeah. and move on. I hope I'm saying your name right. How about you? We haven't really heard from you in terms of what sort of business you have, or
Yeah, hello, to everyone. I'm from India. By the way, I'm just a student right now, so I don't actually have any business. I'm here to learn software if I could, in case. So yeah, I
okay,
don't
well,
own
welcome.
any business. But
Okay.
here I'm currently learning Tally ERP 9. So QuickBooks is the second time I'm hearing, but I haven't really learned about it yet. So I'm at the basics of Tally ERP 9. So I would rather say I would use Tally ERP 9 because people use it here.
Okay.
Okay.
You said you're a student?
Yeah, I'm a student.
Oh, okay, okay. Which school are you in?
Sorry,
Oh, which school are you in?
school. I would say I'm a undergrad.
Okay, are you at university?
Oh yeah, I'm at university.
Oh, which university are you in? If you don't
Oh,
mind.
Bangalore Central University. No problem, no problem.
Central.
Bangalore Central
Okay.
University.
Okay, Central. Okay. Oh, good.
Good, thank you.
Okay, and we
Thank
haven't
you.
heard from you, April.
Hi, I'm sorry. I was looking for my mute button.
That's okay.
So, like the young lady, I am currently Yes, how's everybody doing? And I'm
Good.
currently using good. I'm currently using Square, and we've had one of our businesses for about since 2018, and another business is a DBA under our 2018 business. Um, and I just picked up Square about 4 years ago, and everyone that I'm speaking to, even with the accountant, we just acquired QuickBooks is the way to go. So this is we're trying to convert over and just understand it. Like everything else in the beginning is a little intimidating, but I'm determined to understand it and use it because it seems so simple.
Okay. Oh, great. All right.
Glad to hear from all of you guys.
Moving on, there are many options for accounting and business management software. QuickBooks is one of the most popular one. There's Quicken, Wave, Dynamics, SAP, and others, which are for different levels of business sizes. And we have the option of desktop, online, cloud. You know, so we have these options these days. So the challenge is to see which which software supports the business processes and delivers the help the managers and the owners of these businesses to to get a handle on their finances and to get the reports and information that they need to run the organizations. Well, everyone seems to agree that QuickBooks seems to be the default, the most popular one at this point. And so now let me just go on to QuickBooks. Well, for those who are not familiar with QuickBooks, again, speaking for different softwares that are available out there, QuickBooks has different versions, and for different sizes of businesses. Um, so they start from like about $12 a month up to, depending on the size of the business. The thing though is that different versions of QuickBooks have different features. They have the different modules, mixture of modules. They have the basic modules of payables, receivables, order entry, general ledger. But there are certain features. For example, the basic simple start, which is the basic one, is for businesses of one user or two. And then once you go beyond one or two users, and you require things like tracking time, managing and paying bills in a other than the straightforward way, then one would need to, the features are located in the more advanced versions of this software. So it's a bit, what I've found sometimes is that a small business may need certain complex features that's located or modules that are located in the more advanced versions of the software. So one has to keep that in mind. The advantage of QuickBooks has a lot of advantages that's very, very well known, widely used. It offers the automation of the business and help business to start wherever they are and to grow from there, to automate the growth path. Companies get paid faster. Studies show that they get paid 5 days faster on average. And one of the things I like about QuickBooks is that it runs across platforms. Everything from your smartphone to tablets to desktop, and information is kept in the cloud in the online versions. In fact, they have discontinued the desktop versions. So, and it can be also configured. One of the important things to keep in mind is that QuickBooks needs to be configured for different businesses, a different chart of accounts. One has to select the correct chart of account for the business, because the chart of account for a nonprofit mostly different. There are a lot of common accounts that need to be set up for nonprofits. There are a lot of common accounts, but there are some specific accounts that need to be set up for nonprofit. For example, QuickBooks may not come default with grants accounts. So it has to be configured, and the chart of account has to be set up for grants. It's pretty, for those of us that know how to do this, it's pretty straightforward. We know how to do it. But one needs to keep in mind that this configuration has to be done and done correctly in order to gain the optimal benefits of using QuickBooks and other software too. And the wonderful thing that about QuickBooks is, and other software too, is the dashboard. It used to be that we have to create report. We used to have to do special report writing. We still do. There are situations in certain businesses where they have specific requirements for information, and we may have to customize reports. But we can set up the dashboard to provide the vital information that the users, the different levels of users need in order to fulfill their roles in the business. For example, here we're looking at a QuickBooks, a QuickBooks dashboard. Sorry. Okay. If you look to the right here, it shows, first of all, on the top right-hand corner, it shows the status of the customer payments. For example, it shows, if you look to the top right, this is a reminder for unpaid invoices. And the one below it, it shows the number of overdue payments, which is a graphic in the representation or summary of aging reports in accounts receivable and accounts payable. So and if you go below that, there's a graphic representation here, which shows the status of a profit and loss, the amount, and also the graphical representation of profits and loss. Here's the income. This graph is show the income, and below it you see the expenses. And also there's a graphical representation of the different expenses. The fonts are rather small, and also is color coded so that one can see a graphical representation of the important information that one would want to keep track of. And you can see the expenses are broken down by categories. The first one here is the maintenance and repair, cost of goods sold, legal and professional fees, and others. And again, the beautiful thing about this is that we can actually configure this, customize it to the need of the different users. And this is all very flexible. For your users who are answering phone calls or your bookkeeper, we can create a custom dashboard for them. For the executive director, we can create a dashboard for them. And for the different functions in the business, we can create dashboards. I'm going to move on and show another example for another dashboard here. This one here shows the different accounts. Here are all the accounts receivable, and on the right here are the graphical representation of the accounts payable. Sorry, the font might be small, but I hope you get the idea that we can actually produce the information, the dashboard, to produce the information that user needs, the different users, for their fulfill their functions, the needs of their functions. So QuickBooks help businesses to make smart decisions by presenting the important information needed to make those decisions. Very important for managing money, help to facilitate the payment process, and also keeping track of your bills. And then it provides facilities for accepting payments from different methods. ACH, which is just bank-to-bank transfers. You can use Apple Pay, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. So all this, QuickBooks does provide facilities for accepting payments through the different medium. Any questions at this point? Okay. So now here, more detailed, the features of the different versions of QuickBooks. So these are a more detailed breakdown of the features that are in different versions of different levels of QuickBooks. So now, How do we define success on the implementation of these businesses? We define success by making sure that we have a good understanding of the business process. So that, for example, let's say electrician, for example, is out there talking to clients. They can actually use from their smartphone, they can enter all the necessary information, the client information, the description of the job to be done, and right then on their smartphone, they can place order for whatever supplies and materials that they need to do the job. And right at the same time, they can build the job, send invoices from the smartphone, accept payments, and then again be able to look at reports that shows the information, summaries of their activities. So, and same goes for different kinds of organization, non-profit or membership organization or retail. So success is being able to define the process and then to match the features of the software with the needs of the business. Then to select the right version and set up the correct features. Success is also expert setup and configuration. The thing that causes confusion and problems with setting up accounting and business management systems is not being configured properly. Selecting the right features, but they need to be configured properly. The chart of account have to match the needs of the business, the information needs of the business. So once that is done, the expert setup and configuration, then the user needs to use this system consistently so that all the information go into the system consistently, so that you don't enter the systems in some information to these systems and then go to a manual system and then have to at some point copy the information back into the system and make the mistake of duplication. So, which is a problem with people that use spreadsheet for their accounting. I have a client that set up a very, very nice and good, well thought out spreadsheet. The problem though was that the spreadsheet got so big, and once you make a mistake in the middle of a spreadsheet, at this point with this client, the spreadsheet now had over 300 lines, over 300 rows, and about the columns went from A to beyond Z. So it now took me many, many hours because I had to now recreate and reconcile all the transactions before we can find out and get credible reports. So consistency of use and maintenance of these systems, those are the things that make create success. That's where I define successful implementation of an accounting and business management system. At this time, I'd like to entertain questions so that I can provide additional answers. Or if there's anything that I've missed, please let me know so I can cover them again.
Hello.
Hello? Yes.
I have basically a service-based business, but we
Yes.
will be selling other items, products.
Okay.
So I guess what I've looked at, as the other young lady had said, the QuickBooks is kind of like, because I'm already busy, it seems kind of daunting. How do I get my stuff from Square over to QuickBooks, or which program should I take? It's kind of nerve-wracking, all right? Because I know when I do sales for the CPR, but I also do sales under my nurse consulting, which is kind of like two separate things in the one business, you know. And then of course, like we want to sell, for example, AEDs and first aid kits. So, but still be mostly service based.
Okay. Well, that is what we do. We follow the process. We understand your business. Understand your business. Make sure that we understand the processes, all the activities that are involved in running your business. We sit down together and go through that, make sure that we've covered, defined everything that's involved in running your business. And then that's when we now select, look at how this software, if it's QuickBooks, make sure that the version of QuickBooks will support the processes in a mixture of retail and services, because QuickBooks is capable of doing this. So we just have to gain an understanding of what it takes to run your business and how we use QuickBooks to do it.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, please feel free to ask. I've been doing this for more than 20 years, and we've done this for businesses that have a mixture of service and retail, and also non-profit, and also businesses that do other specialized things. This is Brenda, right? Hello?
Yes, it's Brenda.
That was Brenda. Okay. Do you have any other questions, Brenda? Okay.
Well, I don't know about everybody else on the call, but it just seems like, am I supposed to like just choose the, they've got like 4 different versions, like user 1, user 2, then just plug that stuff in. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm plugging stuff in. I looked at it, I'm like, am I plugging the right stuff in at the right spot?
Yeah, those are the things that has to be looked at. Again, understanding your business, understanding how you work, and then configuring the system to work smoothly with you, the way you like to work. And so that's part of the expert setup. Also, as far as moving from Square to QuickBooks, we take a look at what kind of database and how we can migrate. That's something that we do also, is migrating information from one system to another.
So it's best then for us to wait to be with a more like a person like yourself to move that stuff over than to just move it over and have it all be backwards. Or
Oh yes, so that we can update. Yeah. Oh yes, to keep, so you can retain your history. Of course, client information. Of course, you don't want to have to re-enter those manually. I don't know how many of them you have, but we have a way to migrate the information from one system to the other.
okay.
Most important is to understand your business, the way you work, the way you like to work, and make sure that the new system supports you so that you don't have to, so everything is centralized, you don't, so that it flows with your business. You don't have to do any re-entry all the time. So that's something that we can help you with.
Thank you. Really, thank you.
Oh, you are welcome.
Any other questions?
May I ask? Hi, this is April. This is April. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, bro.
Hi. Does QuickBooks have a platform? Because I sell products that you're able, because that's mainly why I use Square, because I'm able to, have a store access site for products and merchandise to be purchased. Does QuickBooks offer that?
QuickBooks offers, it has what is called add-ons. Add-ons.
Sorry to interrupt, but as far as I remember, doesn't Square dump into QuickBooks? I believe there's an add-on for that. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, QuickBooks integrates
Yes.
with other, that's what I'm referring to as add-on, integrate with other platforms. So that, yes, I believe that's where that is accomplished through integration of those two systems. But depending on your needs, your specific needs for a platform, we'd look at that and see how the best way to integrate and how far QuickBooks goes, depending on what your needs are.
Okay, thank you. I'll look into it. I believe I heard that he said QuickBooks and Square may interact with one another, because that would be helpful, because we're already paying for that platform for the online store. And excuse me, if we're able to link QuickBooks to keep the bookkeeping, it would be super helpful. Even though Square does it, but again, QuickBooks is more, it seems like that's the most used and most simple for everyone. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
You know what? It's Brenda again. I just have another question. When utilizing Square, because I invoice my my daycares, for example, with recurring invoice. What I find to be very difficult with Square is that if I needed to, let's say we're charging by the hour, we need to increase that month's invoice, you have to cancel it in QuickBooks and then resend another invoice. It's not very easy. It's not, like an easy thing to do. All right. So with QuickBooks, if you're invoicing, let's say you're going to a daycare center, you're charging a certain amount of money every month, but that's for like 4 hours. Now you've gone into like 6 hours and you need to send a second invoice. I think based on what I'm hearing, that it's easier to do your invoicing with QuickBooks, so that you can change it and then not have to like stop the recurring invoice and then start all over again and do all that.
In QuickBooks, in that kind of a situation, one option is to just instead of changing the accounting is very kind, tries to prevent things that will unduly complicate things so that one can keep track of things. Generally, to change invoices that have been posted is something that is kind of controlled to avoid duplications. But you are able to, after an invoice has been posted, one can now issue an invoice that is related to the posted invoice, so that at least they're related. So it can be done that way.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. And I can get you a more comprehensive answer to that question, if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Okay. And also with April, if you'd like me to get you more information on that, I certainly can on the platform and platforms.
I would appreciate that. Just let me know. I don't know. Can it be emailed? Should we meet? Just please, I would appreciate it.
That is up to you. So we will be sending out follow-up emails, and I'll send out all of this contact information. And if you guys want to set up a time to meet, you guys can definitely do that.
Thank you.
Oh, great. That would be great.
People are starting to have to log off.
Okay.
So we're going to end it here.
Okay. My objective again is to use my more than 20 years experience to help clients to be successful, to accomplish their goals, and for the success of my business, of your businesses, of my clients' businesses. So I look at myself as to partner with clients for the success of the business. Also with as I've done for other non-profit clients of mine. Thank you very much I appreciate this opportunity, and I hope for an opportunity to work with you.
Thank you very much. Have a great
You're
day.
welcome. Thank you. Have a good day.
And like I said, we'll send a follow-up email with today's presentation, and so just be on the lookout for that, and I'll have Ola Aina's contact information. So thank you guys for attending, and have a great rest of the week.
Thank you. You too.
Have a great enjoy your day, rest of your day. Keep cool. Try.
Yes, please keep cool. This weather's
Try.
been a lot.